What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of HermitPack on the HermitCraft server. Oh yeah, guys. So last couple episodes, yeah, we've been dealing with mob spawners and trying to make power, and we've been failing and all sorts of crazy things. So we ended up just getting a couple of vanilla spawners over here. I still have a Torturino in there, but that thing's only ever active. Like, it'll only ever spawn those blazes if I'm nearby. Well, I probably should get rid of that Torturino though, because we're not really using it. We don't really need blaze rods that quickly. But anyway, our power supply that we tried coming up with didn't really work. I had some confusions because in the video I did make a mistake and I was only showing that I had 8 of the reactors down here, 8 of these Starling generators. I did put in all 10 of them. Yeah, and even with these running and then full up with blaze rods, it just was not producing enough power to keep the powered spawner going. So we had to forego that and just put in the vanilla spawners over here. I would like to look at getting ourselves a better power supply. So we were trying to do it with the blaze rods. It kind of worked. Slowly ran out of power. I wasn't able to sustain itself. So another thing we could do, you can take the biofuel that we're using for our bio generators over here and you can upgrade this. Yeah, you can take some biofuel and I think it's in a, oh, I can't even remember what it is now. It's one of these other crazy machines that you can put it in and it turns into like ethylene or ethanol or I can't remember. It's one of these things. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and figure out which one it is. Is it a chemical infuser? I don't think it's that one. Yeah, I'm going to figure out which machine it is that we have to put it into. Yeah, there's so many different machines for mechanism. And looking at like JEI or whatever, they all look pretty much the same. It's hard to tell which one is which unless you know exactly what you're looking for. Anyway, I'll find the machine that we need to do. It's going to be kind of a complicated setup, I think. Well, there's a lot of inputs and... Anyway, we're gonna have to be making gases and we'll have to be messing around with gases and that'll be fun. I haven't really messed around with that too much, but anyway, let's go ahead and get some mechanism stuff rolling. Yeah, I'd like to have a better power supply so we can upgrade our machines and have these things going at a faster speed and all of that stuff. But anyway, let's get to it and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so here's the pressurized reaction chamber in all of its glory. Oh yeah, so that's what we're looking like. Yeah, all these mechanism machines pretty much kind of sort of look the same, right? They're all like that grayish, light gray, dark gray, lighter gray kind of a color. Anyway, so this is our pressurized reaction chamber or PRC. So the way this thing works is we have to give it 3 inputs. Well, 4 if you count power. 3 inputs, 1 of gas, 1 of liquid, and 1 of an item, right? And power. It does its thing, and then we get out another type of an item, and then some more gas, right? So there's like 3 different recipes for this machine. So we can pump in water and hydrogen and we get ethylene. That's the one we're going to want to do. All right. And then we can also pump in ethylene plus substrate, which is the item we make from that first recipe. That's the item we get back as the substrate. So ethylene plus the substrate plus water will give us oxygen, which we don't really need. Or we can do a liquid ethylene plus oxygen as a gas. Plus substrate, and then we can get HDPE pellets, which I guess are used to make plastic. Anyway, I don't think we're really going to be worrying about anything but that first recipe, so we need to give this thing water, hydrogen, and biofuel. Well, we know how to make the biofuel. We already got a farm out here that's doing that pretty much for us automatically right now. Yeah, so we've seen this a lot. We've been running off of this power. So what we need to do now is get ourselves a little bit of hydrogen. So how do you get hydrogen? In mechanism, we had to make yourself another machine. Yeah, we had to make ourselves this Electrolytic Separator. It sounds complicated. It's pretty simple. You make the machine, you pump in water, you get out oxygen, hydrogen. You also have to give it some power, right? So let's see, where is this thing? Electrolytic Separator. I clicked on this and it's not showing me. I don't know what I clicked on before. I did the wrong thing. This one right here. Okay, so it's like 4 iron, 2 redstone. I guess that's 2 more iron, 2 more redstone for these enriched alloys. And then the electrolytic core, which is more of those enriched alloys. Gold, sand, gold, dust, gold, iron, and osmium. I'm having the hardest time trying to say these items today. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so we need to make that particular item. We have to figure out a way to get water into it. We need a way to make unlimited water. Now, I remember in, what was I doing? FTB Infinity Evolved Skyblock. We were using a thing from Ender.io called a called a reservoir. That's what it's called. I couldn't think of this thing for the life of me. Anyway, with this thing, you put 4 of them together, and then you can put water in there, and it pumps out unlimited water. Yeah, so that's probably what we're going to end up doing for this. We'll get water being pumped out of this. I believe you can just stick that next to a machine, and it will eject the water into something else. So we'll have that going into the Electrolytic Separator, pumping water in there. We might also have it going into this pressurized reaction chamber. I'm going to have to see like how fast that pumps out water. We might have to make multiple of those. But anyway, guys, we got a bit more crafting to do, so let me get to it, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so here's the Electrolytic Separator. Yep, so that's our interface. We got a tank, and I think this is where the 2 gases go, and I can't remember what this one's for. Maybe nothing. Anyway, so that's what this guy's looking like. So I made 2 of these reservoirs. We're just going to go ahead and put 1 for each machine. So it requires a bunch of fused quartz in order to make one of these things. But we had plenty of nether quartz in the system, so that's not a big deal. So that's what the tanks look like. They're a multi-block structure, and it looks different than they did in 1.7.10 the last time I used these, which is pretty cool. I do like the way those look. Whoops, I need to put 1 bucket of water in there. Looks like they are mob spawnable. Let's get a torch on that. Let's grab one of our waters over here. So you should just be able to put 2 buckets of water in there, and then you should be able to pull out unlimited water. Yeah, so then we can do that and that. And now that one should be full. All right, so I believe by default, these don't eject water, and you have to click them with a wrench. At least that's the way they used to work. Let's see if it still works that way. Yeah, it's got the little arrows on there, so it should be auto-ejecting. Now, I'm not sure. This particular thing might have to only accept water from one of these sides with the dots on it. Let's look at this machine back here. This has a site config. That one didn't appear to, so we might not be able to do that. Anyway, so we want the back to do input dark red. Is that fluid input? Gases, energy, fluids. Fluid yellow on the back. I don't see, oh, you know what? We didn't click this with the wrench. I was gonna say, I don't see that filling up full of water. Well, I still don't see it filling up full of water, even though we clicked it with a wrench. Maybe it just doesn't auto eject into a machine like this. Let me double check this config one more time. Site config, fluids, the back says yellow. We did also configure this for something else. So let's turn off energy, gases, items. Does it do anything now? No, it still says empty. So I'm not sure exactly what I've done or incorrectly. Let's input dark blue. Let's actually take a look at this one more time. So site config, fluid, yellow. Let's try yellow. I don't know if this actually does anything, to be completely honest. No, it doesn't look like that's filling up. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to mess around with this for a little bit. It might be we have to use pipes. It might be these don't auto eject. It might be these auto eject, but they don't know how to talk to these. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let me get to it and we'll be back. Aha, well, that's a change. Yeah, before in 1.7.10, when you right clicked anywhere on the tank, the entire tank would eject fluids. Now you have to click on each individual thing. Yeah, in order for it to know that it can eject fluids. So I clicked on this bottom one down here after I placed the pipe, and then that started sending fluid over. I can only imagine, I didn't try this yet, I can only imagine that this will work just the same if we had it set up exactly like it was before. Just gonna move this over, and we will just click it with the wrench like it's supposed to be in the correct spot. Let's unclick that one. This has, oh, this still has fluid in it. I imagine if we do that, that's all we need to do, but I guess we won't be able to tell until we get some stuff going on here. So we do need to provide this with power. Now, I'm pretty sure these 3 sides with the dots on it are the sides that allow power to go into it. I'm trying to think, where do we have our power? Yeah, we still don't have a proper power supply set up. This is what we're trying to work on right now. Oh, I don't have that set up over here either. I thought I had our capacitor bank over there, but no. So we got to go back outside. I guess I said over here to let it charge back up. Yeah, let's go grab this. We'll get our Electrolytic Separator going. We'll see how this thing works. I think it works kind of slow, so we might have to set up multiple of these. I'm not entirely sure. All right, so we are providing a power. We are making hydrogen. We are making oxygen. I think, oh, we're making twice the amount of hydrogen as we are with oxygen. Okay, I'm not sure if we need oxygen for anything. One thing I do remember is that you could set it, yeah, dumping excess. So like, if we get too much hydrogen, it'll start dumping that until the oxygen fills up or something. I don't know if we want to do that just yet. Well, might have to figure out how to get the oxygen out of here permanently. We might just put in like a big gas tank in here or something just to keep it so it doesn't fill up. I honestly don't know what we're going to do, but for the hydrogen, we definitely want some way to pipe that out and over into this. Okay, I guess we could see if I click on this one. Yeah, that's filling up the water just like we want. Cool. So now we got to pipe the hydrogen over into here. All right, guys, so this is our setup right now. I'm still trying to figure out what we're doing here. I'm still trying to learn. So you'll notice that we got a basic pressurized tube coming off the left-hand side, wrapping underneath, and then going into the left-hand side over here on our pressurized reaction chamber. That looks weird, right? Why not just pipe out of this side and go directly over into here? Well, that's what I did originally. I just had this pipe connected, and we pumped oxygen from here over into here. Well, we don't want oxygen in here. We want hydrogen. Yeah, so that was fun. I had to figure out how to get the gas out of our pressurized reaction chamber. Yeah. You'd think you just break the machine and set it back down. No, it retains its gases, retains the fluids. Yeah, you can't do that. So I had to go and figure out what we had to do, and you can use a gauge dropper to do this, right? So a gauge dropper, you just click it with your mouse over here, and then you click it in here and it'll fill up. So since we had just a little bit of oxygen in here and we get a bunch of hydrogen trying to get in, yeah, as soon as they took out the oxygen, this just started filling up. So let's see, we got a basic gas tank. Let me kind of show you what that looks like. So yeah, the gauge dropper, we'll just do that. Fill it up a little bit. So say this had the oxygen in here, you just take the gauge dropper, click it there, it fills up part way similar to this. Then you can come over to a gas tank and put on the minus sign right here. That sends the fluid, or I guess the gas, into the gas tank and empties the gauge dropper, and you can use that again, which is pretty cool. All right, so we got the oxygen thing all taken care of. So I'm guessing oxygen always comes out on the right-hand side, and I'm guessing that the hydrogen always comes out on the left-hand side. So if I was going to redo this, I would move this whole thing over here, obviously, and then that way this would just eject directly into a pressurized reaction chamber. I think that's how that works. I don't know if you can tell a certain liquid or a certain gas to eject from one side or the other, but that's the way it happened here. Anyway, so this is our setup. We're going to be changing this out a little bit to make it nicer. I put in a stack of biofuel in here, and that started doing its thing. Let's actually grab another stack while we're talking so you guys can kind of see what this thing does. Okay, we got a stack of biofuel. So go ahead and stick that right in here. So it's got the water, it's got the hydrogen, it's got the biofuel. It uses 2 pieces of biofuel every time, makes 1 substrate, and it makes us, I think it's 100 millibuckets worth of the gas ethylene every single time. Cool. So this is what we're going to try and burn with our gas burning generator. I think that's what it's called. Gas burning generator. Yeah. So we're going to do one of these setups. Okay, so we're going to need another electrolytic core. We had to make one of those for the electrolytic separator that we're using for the water to separate the oxygen and the hydrogen. And then we need all these other pieces, which aren't really that bad. No, they're not that bad. Just need some steel, osmium, some glass. It's all pretty easy stuff. Yeah, and then that should give us a really way better way of producing RF. Now, I'm not really sure how much RF we're going to get, because eventually we'll want that gas burning generator to power these other 2 machines, right? Yeah. So I'm not sure like how much power we're going to have left over after all of that. I don't know. These do have upgrades, so we can make them go faster. We can also put in the energy upgrades so they cost less for the whole operation. Right now, it is using 162 RF per tick, specifically for, I guess no, I guess it's using both. 162 RF per tick to make the ethylene, not including the amount of power that it costs to make the biofuel itself. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get to this. I'm going to try and rearrange this and make it look a little bit nicer. I'll get the gas burning generator going. We'll check that out and see how much power that thing makes. Alright guys, well I compacted this setup just a little bit more. I'm thinking we don't necessarily need this gas tank here, and we could probably get rid of the gas tank and this pipe and move everything over 2 more blocks and just take up these 3 blocks worth of space. I laid this reservoir down on its side. Yeah, we're ejecting the water into both of these blocks from both of these sides here. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So this is currently using 160 RF per tick. This one is using 200, is that milli RF per tick? I'm not entirely sure. I put 8 energy upgrades in both of these things, so they shouldn't be using too much power when it's completely full. Let me go and grab another stack of the biofuel and we'll drop it in here and kind of take a look at what's going on. So there is that. Pull those out. Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of testing here, trying to figure out what exactly we're doing, how this thing all works. Okay, so I think we're good. Yeah, this only uses 160 RF per tick as it's filling up this, and when that gets full, it stops using power. So if we come over here and look at this, we can see this is fluctuating between like 150 all the way down to like nothing. So it kind of bounces around a little bit, right? So we should be able to take some of the ethylene gas that's in here, pipe that over into this gas burning generator, and then we'll see how much power we're starting to make here. So let's go ahead and we'll do, oh, can we not pull out of that? Oh, you know what? I might have to pull out of the bottom, or do I have to? None, fill, empty. Is that what we need to do? I can't remember how that works. I thought I was allowed to pull out of the gas tank like that. Do I have to configure a side? Items, gases, input, output. There we go. Okay, well, whatever. We got this thing going. So we got this thing full of the ethylene now. This should be producing. Oh, it says it's producing nothing. Why is it not? Do I have to set the configuration on the bottom of this thing? Let's take a look. Input. Now is this doing something? Well, it's got power in here. Huh. Oh, you know what? Like I was saying before, it's these specific things on the side, right? So I probably have to run a power cable up from the output to here. Let's go ahead and do that. I was thinking that this would just output directly, but we might have to do one of these numbers. There is no configuration. Can I just use like a wrench or something? I might have to use the mechanism cables, or maybe that has to connect to the front. Let's try connecting that to the front. Is that working? There we go. Now we're putting power in. So we are producing 5,000 RF per 5,000 RF per tick. Are you serious? We're producing 5,000 RF per tick from this. I didn't think we'd be producing that much. Okay, so let's take a step back for a moment. Let's look at this. So the biofuel, which we've been using in our bio generators, down here is making 64 RF. No, 280 RF per tick. Is it? I think it's 280 RF per tick for one biofuel. Or we can take that biofuel, mix it with some water and some other processing here to make this ethylene, which isn't using it super fast, and we're making 5,000 RF per tick off of that. Wow, this is definitely the way to go. Yeah, well, with this 5,000 RF per tick, we should be able to power that powered spawner that we wanted to do over here originally, right? Yeah, because that uses 800 RF per tick. I think this might be the way we end up powering our base. If we scale this thing up, we have more of these things going and we're producing a decent amount of biofuel. Yeah, we'll be able to produce a lot of power with multiple of these gas burning generators. And look at how fast, or I guess how slowly it's going through that ethylene. Yeah, that is not going through it very quickly. I'm quite surprised actually that we're making this much power. I knew it was going to be producing a lot more power than what we were making before. I didn't think it was going to be making 5,000 RF per tick. That is pretty crazy. I like that a lot. Okay, so this should be keeping everything powered over here. So all we got to do is just keep providing in the biofuel and doing something with the substrate. I'm not really sure what we're going to be doing with this. We might just end up throwing it away. Yeah, again, I don't really know. So let's go ahead and grab one more stack of this biofuel. Let's just dump it in here real quick. Boop. All right, and that should be using 0 RF per tick. Well, mostly 0 RF per tick, because this should be providing the power up there and only burning the amount of fuel that it needs to keep its internal tank full. That is just crazy. I really like this. All right, guys. Well, I went ahead and I put in 8 of the speed upgrades in here. So now we have 8 of the speed, 8 of the energy upgrades. Yeah, it turns out this is only using 20 RF per tick. So this pressurized reaction chamber, very inexpensive. The Electrolytic Separator, this is still using 160 RF per tick. So this is like the most expensive part here. But I mean, if we're making 5,000, we're only using, 180,000 total between the two machines. That's nothing. So we could probably go ahead and add in some more upgrades into this one and speed this one up. Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty cool. So now we got a decent way of making power. We could literally make one of these machines and move it to another place to farm resources or whatever. Yeah, we could start looking at setting up some kind of an automated quarry or something like that. Another thing we're going to have to consider, though, our biofuel isn't going to last forever. I did set up a quantum storage here, and I am piping that into the bottom side of this thing. And this thing is auto-ejecting the substrate to the back, by the way, into another quantum storage. So we won't ever have to worry about running out of space for those. But we are going to have to worry about running out of the biofuel, and that is the next thing that we really have to consider here. Because we're able to fill that thing up, and that's going to be making a lot of the gas, right? And we're storing that in the gas tank, but we're still going to have to figure out how we're going to make all the biofuel. Yeah, so we have the farm set up over here, but this grows really slowly. I mean, we've seen how to make it fast using the Torturino, but I'd rather not use that mod if possible. Like, I don't mind setting it down as an example to be like, this is what the thing's going to look like. This is, how over time things are going to work, but I don't want to rely on the Torturino. So I think there are other ways to get our crops to grow faster. I'm pretty sure there is some kind of a garden soil. We've seen the worms before. We could put like a worm in each one of the corners, I think, and that might hit most of these. Actually, I think the worms only do like 3x3, right? So yeah, we'd have to put like 3, 6, 7, 8. I think we need a total of 8 of those worms. So we'll have to figure out how to get those. I think you can also do some kind of like a garden soil or a fertilized soil. So we'll have to look at that. I believe there's a few other ways in this mod pack that we can make our crops grow faster. And maybe wheat isn't the best choice. Maybe we could get something like carrots or something. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think we have AgriCraft in here, right? Yeah, we don't have AgriCraft. So we can't do 10, 10, 10. So we can't do something like pumpkins. I think if you do pumpkins, you get 4 of those. You could turn 4 pumpkins into 16 seeds, and those you could turn into biofuel. But yeah, unfortunately, we can't do it that way. So we'll have to figure that all out as time goes on. So I'll probably be thinking about that between now and next episode, how to make this all go faster and what's the best way of doing it, because we want to make sure that we are creating a large supply of the biofuel. Yeah, we're starting to run out. We don't have any buffer left over here. We have this chest, and that's it. So once I move that over there, yeah, we're pretty much done until all of our wheat grows, and we just can't rely on our power for wheat growing unless we do like a stupid big field. But anyway, guys, we're gonna go and wrap the episode up here for today. We finally got a decent way to make power. I'm super happy for that. That's gonna unlock a whole lot of other things. So we'll be able to start setting up infrastructure at our base, larger machines, faster processing. I do want to look at getting automated resource collections to some kind of a quarry. Maybe we could look at one of those things that just, you pipe in energy and you get out ores. Like, I think MFR had one of those, the laser drill. I think there's another version of that in this mod pack from Actual Additions. I think it's from that mod. Anyway, I've seen a couple of people use this, so we might look at making one of those. I don't know. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on this episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.